Oh, Ben's here as well. Hello, hello. Ooh, it's filling up nicely. Hi, everyone. Okay, so, whoa, Ferhan's here as well. I think that's pretty much everyone. So I'll let Ferhan in. Hello, hello. Hi, out and about. Okay, I've just muted everyone just for the first 5 minutes. I'm just going to run through a few bits of housekeeping. Can everybody hear me okay? Just put your thumbs up if you can. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Cool. Okay, so welcome to the very first catch up for our lovely Rainbow Films family. This session is going to be recorded, so if you prefer, Phoenix, if you prefer not to be recorded, I will blur you out because at the moment I'm not sure how we're going to use this, but we may put it on social media. Okay, so this is a space for you guys to catch up, and I'll be chairing the meeting purely just to ensure that everybody has a chance to talk. So I'll be using the mute and unmute button occasionally. So it's going to run till 8 p.m. Hopefully, and we are going to cut out at around 40 minutes. So if that does happen, what you need to do is just log back in using the same link again. Okay, and I'm going to suggest that you use the chat box if you want to say anything while anybody's talking. Also, you can use the screen sharing option. So if you've got any videos, if you've got any links, or if you've got anything that you just really want to share visually with the group, feel free to do so as well. The plan really is just to catch up. So everybody just one at a time, just kind of run through how life has been for you since COVID. Also, how you're coping with that. If there's any support that you need, either from the group or just in general as well, do let us know. Before I start, I'm just going to let you know what I've been doing, and also in terms of Rainbow Films, where we're kind of at, because there's a few developments there. Excitingly enough, I just received an email literally just now, which is quite good news. Rainbow Films, as you know, we are part of Make a Difference Entertainment as an organization. MADE has basically taken a hit from COVID because all of our funding kind of dried up. All of the funds that we were allocated initially to go into any new projects were then diverted into funds that were purely for COVID relief programs. So what we thought we would do is we would design a new program, so to speak, which is going to kind of work towards tapping into some of the existing funds that they have at the moment, which are COVID emergency funds. Now, these funds are running till till March next year, March 2021. And we've designed the project based off the back of I don't know if you guys remember the survey that I sent out. So I sent you guys a survey, and within that survey, you guys gave some really great responses as to what you'd like. And what kind of came back potentially is that what we could do in the meantime, just to kind of keep us afloat and just to kind of have the group conversations going, is to provide some kind of mentoring program or a coaching program where we would find people who are in the industry who would give you either monthly or weekly coaching sessions or mentoring sessions, which could be really valuable for you guys to help you with your mindset, to help with your well-being, but more importantly, helping you to pursue those opportunities that you may have said to yourself, okay, look, I don't want to do this, or I don't feel confident enough because of COVID or whatsoever. So it's just to give you that support and help in the meantime. Pride and Protest has been selected for SQUIF, Scottish Queer International Film Festival. Also, IDFA have been taking a bit of time to get back to me, so I've just kind of decided that we're probably just going to tell IDFA that we're going to go with other festivals because IDFA can then put us into the best of fest. So if we've got a lot of festivals that the film has been sort of collecting or being selected for, IDFA will let us then be part of the best of fest competition. So in that respect, we won't win a prize per se, but we will still be screened at the festival, and we will still be accessing all the producers and the distributors and everything else. By default anyway, because we have entered into into a contract with SQUIF, they said to say to SQUIF, basically we can't enter, but I don't want to do that because I've already entered into an agreement with them. Because we've entered into agreement, that disqualifies us as an international premiere because Scotland is classed as international in their eyes. So they will then most likely be putting us into the competition the best of fest. Okay, so the other festival, the Coalition for South Asian Film Festivals, which is basically 7 festivals across America and Canada, they've also selected the film. So I'm going to reply to them, and they're really interested. That was initially set up through a meeting, well, through an email exchange with Vaneet and I think it's Pulkit is his name. Yeah, so which was really great. So that was set up through that. And also, Hadi has also set up a screening with Genesis Cinema, and they're looking to screen it on the 26th of November, which is going to be in the actual cinema. We will get half of the proceedings from ticket sales. Also, they've allowed us to do a crowdfunding fundraiser and also fundraise on the day as well through the Q&A. So if there are people, high profile people we can potentially invite, we can get them to open their purse and hopefully contribute to our campaign. So enough of me blabbering on. I'm going to open up the chat now. So I will unmute people. I don't know how to do this. Actually, we can do maybe if I go to unmute, allow participants to unmute themselves. Okay. Actually, oh, cool. Right. So Manpreet. So hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay.
Good, good.
I can't lie. I actually like there's been like a lot going on. Like very like family things. I haven't really been the most like I haven't really had like interesting things going on in terms of like post Rainbow Films. So because I mean, well, since Rainbow Films, it was nice like I started to see like lots of more South Asian and like queer organizations on Instagram that had started to reach out to Rainbow Films and had started to reach out to us, like saying that, you know, you guys did an amazing job. So it was really cool, like kind of getting to know all different people. So that was nice. And I had started getting back into writing to like write about experiences, because like the documentary inspired me to start writing again. So that was fun.
Awesome. And how has COVID impacted you personally, and how have you been coping?
I think COVID personally, like it hasn't impacted me. It's only impacted me socially. I think I've been very fortunate enough to like still be very healthy and have like my family be quite healthy. All it's really done is, I guess it's just like stopped it's just like stopped me from being able to go in my daily routine, being able to see friends. And I think it has taken a bit of a hit on my mental health, because I am very much a person who is friend orientated. I really do need to go out a lot and like see lots of different people. I think because my job is in Spain, that was kind of safe, because I am going to go back soon to carry on for a year. But yeah, being at home and like not having anything that everything out of my hands and not being able to like help myself for the future was kind of tiring. It felt like I was a bit stuck and helpless again, and I didn't really like being in that position. But I think apart from that, I think it's something that I can easily bounce back from. It didn't really affect me any other way, which I'm very, very fortunate about. But it's affected, I don't, like, luckily my family had also been able to keep their jobs too. So that was quite nice.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Manpreet. I'm going to go to the next person in my gallery, which is Sam. Sammy, you are unmuted.
Oh, hello. Hi. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Hi. Hi, guys. My sound keeps cutting out, so...
Yeah, so Sammy, just the question is how has COVID affected you personally, and also what developments, either professionally or personally, are going on in your life that you'd like to share with the group?
Initially, in the first couple of months, I was trying to keep myself busy. I was writing constantly. I've written a couple of I wrote a feature film, sort of LGBT gangster film, which is quite and in my head it seems funny, but the other so I've sent it to someone. They were like, what the hell is this? I'm going to have to read but it's like three months into the COVID thing, it really did, you know, my mental health just really, in brutal honesty to you guys, it just really kicked in. I lost, you know, having a diary and not, you know, I'm used to being busy, and suddenly to have a diary that's empty up until now, it just really whacked me in the face. It just whacked me. I just hit a brick wall basically, and I just lost all motivation. So, you know, kind of since mid-July, I really haven't done anything. I've done nothing. I've been trying to socialize more with people, but I haven't really done much in that respect. And I didn't quite catch the second bit of your question, Blaise.
Yeah, it was
Cut out.
basically just in terms of any, I mean, you've kind of answered it, but it was just basically professional or personal developments that you'd like to share with the group.
Yeah, professionally, yeah, personally, professionally, nothing really. I put myself out there for voiceover work. I managed to get some equipment that is up to scratch, because what I did for them initially
Sammy, you are cutting out quite a bit, I think. I don't know if that's for everyone, but you're cutting out. You could try muting your video, and then we can get the sound, because sometimes it's just, if you've got a low bandwidth, then the video causes havoc. So you could try that, or maybe just try repeating what you just said.
What I just said.
Yeah.
Well, let me try and cut the video. I don't know if I'll cut the sound.
It's fine, yeah, we can still hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. So professionally, not you know, I put myself out there and trying to get myself some voiceover work. And it's only today I'm at pickups. I borrowed some equipment from a friend to get myself recording. So hopefully I'm going to do that in the weekend. And personally, there's honestly absolutely nothing's happened, to be honest. I'm still building up my motivation and my self-worth to do stuff. But I think until I've got something in my diary, I haven't really done anything, to be honest.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much for sharing that, Sammy. We're going to go over to Giselle. I've just unmuted you.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Hey guys. Same two questions, I assume. So I've been quite busy. I'm currently doing my film degree thing at LFA, London Film Academy. So I've been doing quite a bit of online classes and master classes with that. And then I pitched to direct a film in our film project, and I got greenlit. So I've been working on my film called Haunted, and it's been really, really cool. I've been working with two amazing Asian actors, and they're so brilliant, and they were so like lovely on the day. It was so great. So yeah, I've just finished shooting that. I did that, wrapped on Monday, I think. And yeah, so I'm going to go into post in a month or so, I think, which is going to be cool. I'm going to be camera operating on one of my friend's films starting, we book out the equipment tomorrow, so it's going to be up until Wednesday next week. I'm going to be camera operating on that. So I've got some film projects that I'm working on, which is really, really great, because I love doing that stuff. And I guess I did a film competition as well earlier on this year, which was like a stay-at-home sort of film competition. I think it was called Four Walls, and you had to make a film within like the walls of your house. It was just everyone in lockdown, but like making films, and it was really cool. So yeah, that's what I've been getting up to, which is really cool. How COVID has affected me. I mean, as a young creative, this is sort of my time to gain experience and like sort of build up my CV so that I can get into like the industry and stuff. So it's like taken a big hit on what I've been able to do and like the opportunities that I've been able to reach out to, like particularly this summer, which was a time where I really wanted to get into doing more things like professionally and really trying to be a runner or be something and be doing things, but then like everything stopped. So that's sort of taken a hit, as well as sort of my mental health took a big hit. And currently I'm trying to get a appointment with my doctor to sort of figure that stuff out. Because it's hard, because you're like, everything's changed, and that can be hard, because like you can't even go to the shops anymore without like another set of rules and another set of things to think about, which can be difficult. I'm definitely not the worst impacted person in this situation, but it is hard. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Thank you so much. That was great. And Ben?
Am I unmuted? Hi. How you guys doing? Yeah, so my lockdown has been pretty busy, actually. All my family came back. I also kept myself busy by doing my graduation during this time. So I directed, wrote, and edited a documentary on the young and vulnerable during this time. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's been quite hard though, because obviously I've got asthma, so I've been at home self-isolating throughout the whole 4 months. So I mean, it was okay, because obviously we had Zoom calls with my mates, but I did get, obviously my mental health went up and down, obviously, because like paranoia to yeah, no, it's just everyone's been really positive for me. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, Ben. So next is Vaneet, and we'll unmute. Same two questions, Vaneet.
Can everyone hear me? Hi. So first one, how COVID has affected me. I think similar to what the other people said, it's like I'm definitely not the worst affected. I'm being quite fortunate that like my job wasn't impacted. I haven't caught it, and obviously I'm not in like the vulnerable group, so it hasn't really impacted me in that perspective. Mental health definitely plummeted at the beginning. It's a lot better now that I'm sort of used to it all, but like definitely plummeted. Anxiety is a constant thing. Like I really try and avoid leaving my house, just because like my anxiety just spikes. Like I'm just like too close to someone and suddenly I'm like, I'm gonna catch it, I've caught it, and start getting like really somatic as well. Like, I don't know if that's the right word. So it's been really unfun from that perspective. But like my income is fine, and like all of that has been okay. So I'm quite thankful for that. But yeah, I'm really tired of it as well. I feel like well, I think it was like some of the other people said, like Manpreet and stuff, like it's really weird going from like being really busy to suddenly having nothing happening. And what I found is like I had a couple of months of like nothing, and then suddenly everything started ramping back up again, and started getting like all of those engagements, especially during Pride Month. And somehow I don't know how I used to do it all, because I'm doing it and I'm just exhausted and burnt out from like doing one thing. So it's been difficult to like be motivated and like push myself to do things. In terms of like what I've been up to, I mean, I had a few periods where I wasn't doing a lot, but I'm sure everyone knows like that hashtag trended, and now I have shirts. So I reached out to a LGBTQ plus owned business called Rainbow & Co. To get some merchandise, and they're really great. So like I reached out to them because I saw how inclusive their company was. Like they actually had a whole bunch of shirts for all the different sexualities, and like all the different groups that often don't get representation. And you know, like there's so many times where I go onto like an LGBTQ plus shop and they'll have like 5 shirts for bears and then 1 shirt for bisexuals, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm really glad that like we've got these. We've actually got 6 designs, 2 for bisexual men, 2 for bisexual women, and 2 for bisexual non-binary people. And £5 for each shirt goes to bisexual organizations, which is really cool. So helping raise money at the same time. And it's all like grassroots orgs who don't get actual funding. So they're not a charity. They don't get access to funding from like corporates or anything. So that's been great. I'm sure everyone also knows about the book deal. So I'm still like writing, but it's like every now and then someone will be like, oh, do you want to write this thing? And I'm like, no, because I've got a whole book to write, and that's really daunting. But it's really exciting as well. Like really helping me connect with people because I'm hearing everyone else's stories and seeing the similarities and the differences and sort of writing them in as well, and really unpacking the issues that we have as bisexual men, but also ending off with like advice of like, this is what I would wish I did, and this is what I wish I didn't do, and sort of helping people go through the process if they're like questioning or if they think they're bisexual or whatever. So I'm doing that. I've also been doing, so lockdown has actually been quite handy because I've had some corporate companies reach out to me to do panels that actually pay me for once. So that's great, being paid for a panel. And it's easier to work in because I don't have to take a day off work. I don't have to travel to their company. I just like, it's my lunch break and I go onto the Zoom and I do the panel and then I go back to work. So it's been really good for that perspective. Personal wise, I'm dating someone, which I met someone during lockdown online. So that's kind of cool. Like, I went like a year and a half without ever having a date, and then somehow had a date in lockdown. And we did like virtual dating for like a really long period. And we've met up a few times in real life. It's been a while since we've met up because they went home for a while, but we're going to meet up again in real life soon. But until then, we've just been doing like weekly or twice weekly virtual dates. And like, it's like Netflix and chill. Like we watch Netflix together and like chat for like an hour and stuff. So yeah, it's cute. That's me.
Lovely, nice one. Thank you for sharing that, Vaneet. If you want to as well, if you can also send a link to where we can get the t-shirts and where we can see them, just please feel free to share that in the group, and then I'll put that up also. If we do put this on, if we put this online, then I'll put it up somewhere on the screen. Superimposing. Okay, who do we have next? Should we go to Rico? If I can find you on the list now. Oh, there you are. Okay, hello.
Hey, yeah, I think how has COVID impacted me? I guess because most of my work as a videographer, I had to find my own clients. Like I just hustled the entire thing to get it, and then you realize you can't actually leave the house. And it's like, okay, that makes filming events a lot harder. Like, do I film the Zoom chat? I mean, what is this gonna do? So, I think for the first month, I was just like, thank God, because I was like super tired. Because if you're filming club events, they finish late, you get home, you're tired, you have to keep going, and like, yeah, first couple of weeks I was just like, this is just nice just to not do anything, like a legitimate excuse not to do anything. But then the mental health kicked in, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I'm tearing my hair out. And I spent a lot of time in queer non-binary sections, and then having to spend 100 time in a cis environment with my family. It's been a bit, like, I could take the occasional misgendering, but like all day misgendering was just like a different adjustment. So yeah, it's just been interesting, but I'm kind of, I've got used to it, and I have to kind of like adapt. So I started doing a lot of public speaking. So I did done public speaking with Blaise at Black Lives Mass protests, and it kind of just went from there. And I did a panel at Les events, and I did some work for King's Cross, and I got invited to the GIC like new consultancy meeting, and I just got appointed at the board of directors of Transactional. So I'm on the board there, which is quite cool. So one of the people running it, Helen Batchelor, she's like a secretary for gender diversity in Parliament. So I'm going to be like helping her with like grant applications and deciding which policies, legislations and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be on the board. I'm quite chuffed with myself. And what else have I been doing? Yeah, so I one of my former clients, I worked with them on a radio station. I used to create promo videos for them, and they asked me to help organize the radio racism radio show. And I applied as a trans guy, and they said, you know, can I just host it as well? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I'm going to be hosting a 9-part radio show on racism. So I'm going to be interviewing people like guys, Diane Abbott and Patrick Vernon, and I'm like contacting them to try and get them involved. And so yeah, it's an official radio show, and I'm going to be one of the hosts. So I'm pretty darn chuffed, because it means that I have one of the shows is going to be an LGBT segment, so we can talk about intersectionality. So I can force Black people to discuss why they're stereophobic. So yeah, it's good. I started doing a column for a Black Lives Matter magazine. The first one is my page. It's called Condoms and Fresh Cream, basically saying how, like, if I'm really bored and I go out shopping and I feel as if people are a little bit too suspicious of my gender, I make the 2 items that go across the checkout, condoms and fresh creams, so they can guess which one it is. Am I girl or guy? And it's a casual card, Sarah or Madam, which one is it? You know, just sort of just annoy people while I can. I'm thinking about having surgery in December, and I'm gonna get on hormones next month, I think. So I'm gonna be bearded, hopefully next year. I just wanted to, I got onto the waiting list. It was 3 years. And I was just like, I'm not waiting 3 years for the first appointment. It's ridiculous. So I just did a lot of research and tried to speed it up, to try and like work it out. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I started dating someone that I've known for about 1.5 years on Instagram, and they messaged me in November saying I like them, like they like me, and I was just like, you look too straight, like I'm not feeling for that. I've done this one before. And we started talking literally the day before quarantine. We started talking, and we just went from there. So we've been talking for about 7 months now. It seems like it's, yeah, but they have a kid, so I'm gonna be like daddy vibes. So I'm meeting the kid next week, and I've kind of brought the kid like a paddling pool and like cute little like cooking stuff. And I was doing Zoom calls with the kid, just like bedtime stories. So I made like an eye patch so I could be a pirate. So yeah, I'm super into this. This is a lot of fun. And she's 2. She's like adorable. She's like, yeah, and she has the same fluffy hair as me, so no one will know that she's not my kid. So yeah, there's a yes, I'm poor. so poor. But I have like a lot going for me, and I'm kind of like excited. But I think I'm probably going to go back into finance after I'm bearded, because I just need to kids are expensive. I'm not sure if you realize, but they just like eat your money, is eat it all. So I just kind of needed to step up and just go back to it. But I'm still going to do like politics and activism stuff. So yeah, I'm 28. I'm kind of looking forward to stepping into like daddy role. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, Rico. We're going to see a trailer that we put together a bit later on. Rico, before we do that, I'll get you to introduce what we've been working on in terms of the film project. We'll do that right at the end. So next we have, last but not least is Ferhan. Hello.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Oh, yes. Thank you, Blaise, for introducing me as if I needed an introduction. It's so lovely to see you all again, and it just makes me feel really happy to see you. Rico, I've seen you recently. I mean, you didn't even give me a chance. You didn't even tell me all about all this amazing news. Feels like everyone is getting hitched right now, and here's me sad and single as usual. Yeah, and I think obviously like with Giselle and Sam, like sorry to hear that you're going through difficult times. I think that COVID has affected all of us in very different ways. And, you know, some are affected more seriously than others. For me personally, I think, yeah, it's been quite hard, to be honest, because I was in a really good job. For the first time in my life, I was in a job where I felt like I was being paid properly. I was doing what I love doing. It was road safety, but it was like working at TfL. You know, so it was well paid and it was rewarding work, and it was nice being in the office because literally everyone in my team was either gay, lesbian, or trans. Actually, no, there was no. Okay, actually, there wasn't anyone trans, but still, there was like an LGBT element to the office that I really appreciated. And I was being paid properly, and it was in a nice area with really great food. So I just kind of like hated the fact that March comes along and takes that job away from me, because TfL suffered really badly with their finances. Obviously, because people aren't using the tube. For me personally, I think I was quite happy to be working from home for a while. And then, I mean, I was very fortunate to be furloughed at the full government rate. So I was getting at least 490 a week, 460 a week after all the taxes and everything, to tide me over until I basically got fired at the end of July. So I decided that even though I was in a lot of debt and money was tight, I wouldn't, I'm just going to change the screen. Wait, sorry, meeting settings. Right, okay. I was trying to see all of you at the same time because I can only see one of you right now. Yeah, what was I saying before? Ah, there we are. What was I saying before? I was saying that, yeah, I basically, huh?
That furlough, being furloughed.
Yeah, so money was tight and I didn't have much money, but I decided, you know what, if I've got money coming in regularly and I've got nothing to do, because you're not allowed to do any work while you're on furlough, I'll just start doing things that are going to make me better as a person. So I decided to make lots of pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes, and fried tempura and get really fat. And I gained so much weight that I ended up at about 100 kilograms. Which was about 217 pounds. And I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was just shocked by how gluttonous I'd been and how big I'd gotten. So I started all these new exercise regimes, weight training, and dieting, nutrition, things like that. And managed to get myself right down to 185, but I'm still trying to lose weight because now that I know how to do it, it feels a lot easier. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like a bit like sunken. But obviously the Black Lives Matter movement has been such a prominent thing in my life, like during lockdown, because having so much free time, you can absorb yourself in the news and what's going on. So it's been a huge learning curve for me, knowing really deeply why the Black Lives Matter movement is so important, why we need to really scrutinize the role that the police play in our lives. And I decided that I would go to as many protests as I could. I actually used to cycle there from Walthamstow down to Peckham and things like that. That's where I met Rico and Blaise. So I've been getting involved, and I've been doing a little bit of filming of myself, just like I did at the protests in Birmingham, but I haven't yet released them on YouTube because I've just been feeling my mental health has been really challenging as well. Like I think for many people it has been, because I'm like you, Manpreet. I'm just always desperate to kind of be around friends, you know, be eating out with friends, doing lots of things with lots of people, hanging out with Vaneet at a panel discussion, you know, going to Bristol, doing panels, all sorts of lovely things. I just love being around people. So the idea of like just being in my flat all the time was hard, and it's just been hard. But it got even harder in August because all of the money dried up for my furlough, and I officially got fired. So luckily I've managed to find another job, which is actually at Islington Council. So I might be bumping into the likes of like Jace and Emily Thornbury, and you know, really living the North London metropolitan liberal elite lifestyle, and like, yeah, just like becoming one of those bitches. But yes, it's completely Labour run. Like every single councillor is Labour except for one that's Green. And I'm going to be doing project management with them. So luckily I should have some money coming in soon. Huge drop in pay, but that's okay. It's a job. And you know, I'm lucky to even be able to get a job during the recession. You know, I wish I had the finance option that you've got, Rico. That sounds really like coiny. But I just, yeah, I think, do you know what, I'm quite looking forward to having the project management experience, so that I can take that transferable skill into like, I don't know, like other places. I was so sad the Rainbow film didn't manage to kind of like, you know, kind of like reach a studio cinema audience, because that was so exciting, the notion that we were going to be at the BFI. But I think that, you know, the fact of the matter is, it's just been such a success otherwise. Like the fact that it's actually reached a bigger audience is what I mean. You know, by being online and being international. Look at the places where we're going to be showing our film. I think it's just brilliant, and I just loved watching the film as well. And it would have been nice to have like a big group of friends to watch it with, but just, yeah, I really loved watching it, and it kind of took me back to what 2019 was all about. Really exciting. And what was the other question?
It was just that, really, personal life, professionally, and COVID impact.
Yeah. So I think that health-wise, that's been the biggest benefit. I've realized I've bought a sphygmomanometer to check my blood pressure every day. I've been getting a glucose and ketone blood stick, so I can do a finger prick test and check my blood glucose and ketones every day. I bought a bike. I've been cycling all over London. So yeah, I think that COVID-19, the positive has been maybe just the focus on my health and nutrition.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. So we are now going to, Ferhan touched on it briefly. We could talk a little bit about Pride and protest. Just getting your feedback on how you think the screening went, if you've got any people approaching you afterwards, or if you've got any feedback from people online or social media, and also what you thought of the Q&A for those who were tuning in or taking part. So I guess you can, if you want, you can unmute your mic when you're ready to talk. This is not as controlled, so just feel free to jump in at any point. Don't all rush at once.
I can go. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to finally see it all put together, because we've been talking about it and doing it and being in it for so long, and it's like, you know, we had like, what was it, like 10 million hours worth of footage? I don't know. And to think like, how is any of this going to boil down into like 90 minutes? And to actually see it put together was a really great moment. It is really sad, like I agree with Ferhan, like it is really sad that we couldn't do the whole, like, I was really looking forward to like being at the big screen at the BFI Flair, and all of us sitting together and all of us being really happy afterwards, and like having the party and then flying off to all the other festivals that we were potentially going to go to. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, like, there's so many people who can't make these in-person festivals for whatever reason, like location, money, time, disabilities, etc., etc. So it's really nice that we could put it online and we could have that, and so more people could access it. I know a lot of people like replied to my tweet when I shared it and messaged me.
Oops, sorry.
A lot of
Oh.
people told me like how great it was and how much they enjoyed it and how much they learned from it, and how important the visibility was. So I think that it definitely resonated with a lot of people, and I'm really hoping that it will reach more people.
Okay, anyone else? Thoughts on the film or the Q&A?
I want to echo that, because you're right, Vaneet. Do you know what? This film was about people, like, and about change, and about people that are underrepresented and, you know, unrepresented rather, underrepresented. The fact of the access of this film being online and so democratic in that regard, able to be accessed by those that needed to see it all over the world and to be empowered by it, you know, that is actually, if anything, that's more powerful than these elitist kind of like, oh, let's go to the BFI, have a party and a schmooze afterwards, you know, a network. It's like, actually, yeah, this was more true to what the film was supposed to be about. So you're right, there's pros and cons. I think I did have it in my head that I was like, oh, I'm going to be a film and then I'm going to go schmooze afterwards to the BFI. I'm really going to be like one of the hoi polloi, like I'm going to be like part of the glitterati, you know, because I'm in a film. But actually, no, our film is so much more about the heart.
I mean, that loss of networking was definitely sad. But the panel with Rico, other Rico, was really fun. And I was glad that we could all have that moment to talk about it. I think the only part that was terrible on that was like the Zoom bombing, or whatever they call it, when like everyone came in and started like taking over the screen. But we're really glad for this Rico. I'm pointing below because the video is below me. Really grateful for this Rico, because he came in and like moderated it all, and Giselle came in as well and like really helped all of that, because that was real bad. And then it's just like, okay, someone help with this. Someone moderate, please.
I also wanted to add that I think in terms of networking, we'll eventually get our chance to do that. But I think what's more important is the film was out there, and I think it was better than any of us could have even imagined, like, especially because we'd worked so hard, and seeing it all put together, it's like, it was incredible how it perfectly told everything we wanted to be told in that short amount of time. And we still got, like, I think during the time where like you can't really, like, a lot of people are having a difficult time being in LGBT like safe spaces, and a lot of us are like stuck in very kind of like cis like heteronormative environments. So having that film being online, I think it is quite nice for a lot of people. So I think we'll get our opportunities eventually, but it's nice what it's done during a time like COVID.
Anyone else, any comments on the film, or even just the project Rainbow Films, how that went for you, and how you feel about not being part of it anymore? Well, you are still technically, but not coming to sessions.
Can I, does anyone else want to speak, or can I jump in? I mean, first of all, I'd like to say that it coming out during like the sort of Pride time was really cool, because obviously like me and a lot of people were feeling quite down that there wasn't going to be Pride. We weren't going to be together and have this gigantic sort of celebration of who we are. So it felt really cool to like watch the film and then have that feeling by watching the film and seeing people celebrate themselves and feel a part of that, especially, which was really cool. And I guess that sort of mirrors the feeling throughout the project, is that you like came together with a group of people and they all sort of had similar experiences to you, and it was really cool to sort of be part of that. And although it's sort of sad that it's over and that we're not like meeting up every Saturday and going to film things and other things, I think it's still there. I think it's still alive, because we still are connected with one another. We're still doing things. And I think I don't know, Rainbow Films isn't over, you know?
It is really cool to like see what everyone's doing and just being like clapping from the background, like, yeah, go do it. I do miss our fights though, Giselle. I miss us taking over the whole session and Blaise being like, shut up. And we're just like, Jedi Moses, Sith.
I was just saying, I just wish I had a mute button in real life. But you know, this is one of the pros of having this Zoom. I can control everyone. Shut up! And just put you on mute. But no, lovely to hear everybody and hear like what you've been up to. It's just so amazing, despite the adversity of COVID and everything that's kind of going on in the world. It's good to know that you guys are still kind of keeping a chin up and keeping busy, so to speak. So I just want to talk briefly about a new project that we're kind of doing, which is called Black Rainbow. It's a working title at this stage, but it's featuring Rico and a person called Cupid as well, who's a gay man. Rico, would you like to just introduce the film, because I want to show the group a little teaser that we've put together. The teaser was just put off the back of what we just filmed, because it was a matter of urgency that we film the protests and we film everybody who's involved, because these aren't going to happen. I mean, they are likely to happen again, but it's not in the capacity that we kind of were involved in and the people were involved in, so to speak. So Rico, if you'd like to just tell the group where we're at with the project so far. And just before you do, actually, Tom has emailed back somebody who Rico put us in touch with. He's a producer for Gordon Ramsay Studios. It's not something that they would necessarily produce, because obviously Gordon Ramsay and the brand, it doesn't really sort of go with the political aspect. So what he has done is that he said that potentially there's a commissioner at BBC Three that he knows. So he said once we kind of clean up the pitch a little bit, he's happy to share it with them. And hopefully he's also got another production company that he can possibly present it to. So fingers crossed. I've also in the process sent it to a few people for feedback, and I'm going to be pitching it to Guardian and Vice as a potential project. So this isn't going down the festival route. This is going direct to broadcast as a broadcast documentary first and foremost, as opposed to a cinematic film festival film. So in that respect, we hope to reach as many people as possible with it. So Rico, care to introduce the film, and then I'll stick the teaser
on. So on that, I met Tom. So I'm part of Media Right Youth Board. So that's like a production company that's based in Hackney, and they help people in the youth in the area like connect with producers and stuff. So I think like once every 2 months there's like a meeting with a different producer, and then you can sort of pitch ideas. So if any of you want to come along and meet some of these people, like just let me know and I can just get you added to the group. It's not like the contact was just by just zooming and just doing a lot of zooms. So yeah, happy to bring anyone in on that. So the film Black Rainbow, I actually like that title, by the way. Let's keep that one. But I mean, see what everyone else says, but I like that one. So Cupid, I met Cupid about 2 years ago. I was actually a +1 for his birthday party, and he's just like a really like burly, big black man, like Jamaican. Like he's like the heartthrob of all of the queer scene. See Ferhan right now at the bottom. Yeah, that's the response to Cupid that most people get. I hate going out with him because it's just so long. Just walking along, he stops to flirt with someone. You can't even get into the club. It's so annoying. But yeah, he's like my big brother. And I actually didn't know most of his story until part of this documentary. So essentially what we're trying to capture the topic of intersectionality, essentially seeing how same way you're doing between being Muslim and queer, it's the same thing with intersectionality between black and queer, and how effectively you feel as if you have a fractured identity, how you want to uphold your cultural heritage, but you feel as if in a way by actually being your true self, you're betraying your family and you're letting them down, or the whole shame factor behind it. So Cupid's story is that he used to live in St. Lucia. His dad was a police chief, and he fled. This is how much I proofread your synopsis, Blaise. I can remember it by heart. Yeah, he fled St. Lucia after his dad was responsible for the hanging of 2 gay men. So he fled from St. Lucia to London after that. And then about 3 years ago, when he was in Afghanistan as a soldier, his partner of 3 years was shot by a sniper in front of him. So he's had a lot of homophobia, a lot of trauma. And the reason why Cupid and I first started getting along is because both of us have PTSD. I was still recovering and he's a former soldier. And the reason why he wears a hat is because he still has a little bit of shrapnel in the back of his head from Afghanistan. So same story as me, had to learn how to read and write. He had to relearn how to talk. That's how bad his PTSD was. So my personal story, just occasionally, just from you guys know it from the city, like just trying to recover, get everything back up and running, like learning how to read and write, and essentially just going to activism. So the documentaries, we're going to capture some of my newest story. So I'm going to be doing a speech in Parliament Square for the trans rights. That's going to be next weekend. And me stepping back into finance, back into a working environment, just trying to do regular daddy stuff, stepping into family life, and and also surgery. I don't want the focus to be too much on surgery because it's necessarily the entirety of my identity, but I think it would help the wider public to be aware what it's like and how it's actually not that big a deal. So yeah, that's the plan. I think it's going to help people understand the plight of people who quit in the Black community, and even though we may not necessarily, we face racism, we also face persecution from our own community, which means that we are wholly and alone in most instances. And throughout COVID, without the family support network, a lot of us have suffered, in addition to the fact that a lot of queer individuals, we tend to work in the performance field. So we tend to hold roles where drag kings, retail jobs, hospitality, all those 0-hour contracts will get cancelled because we can't get more stable 9 to 5. So it's us who's going to be hit most when any of this happens. So yeah, it's going to be capturing our story. Cupid was actually, his footage of him talking at the Black Lives Matter protest ended up on CNN because he's that good at public speaking. He's that inspirational. I didn't even know he had that in him. He was standing there in his very, very effeminate looking tank top. I was like, you genuinely do not care. So much respect for him. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rico. I'm going to try now and share it with the group via the share screen option. If there's any difficulties with sound or it's just really blurry, just raise your hand and I'll try sending it again. Okay, so just give me one moment. Yes. Phoenix, you need to keep your mouth shut. Stop it. Wait. Okay, I'm going to mute myself. Shush! You're showing me up. Wait. You can see himself on the screen. Stop it. Come on. Give me a kiss. Come on. Okay. Right. Can everyone see this? Can everyone see the screen? Yep. Okay, cool.
My first name is Cosmos. I'm big, I'm black, and I'm strong. Being openly gay, it was hard. Black lives matter, trans lives matter, gay lives matter. And I say that on every protest I have because I wanted to sing home. That's why we are here today, day after day, protesting, because we cannot unsee what happened.
Pronouns are he, him, they, them.
See how she's looking at us. She's horrified.
People had a problem with that. I'm like, well, people already had a problem with me before, so I am a black trans man. We are entitled to go for the same opportunities as everyone else without having the shame of our gender.
The gay community and the black community have so much in common in terms of suppression for so long. That's why I think black should support gay better than they are doing today.
We need to fight to have our voices heard. It's like our existence is a protest.
This is not a trend. This is not a fashion. I'm passionate about this. I fought for Queen and country, and I could fight for my skin color. I born black, I will die black, but to hell, I'm not gonna die because I'm black. I damn you.
I'm fearless. It's only right. My head's up.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
May you live long. With perseverance, hold on.
We are making sacrifice regardless of this coronavirus. We are standing face to face with that in the face of racism.
Really and truly, we just don't actually want to be fighting all the time, all day, every day. You want to be focusing on what everyone else is focusing on, building a life, building a family, and generally just growing as an individual.
Our foot is on the gas, and I am not taking it off. I will do whatever I have to do, even if it costs me to losing my job as a serviceman in the armed force. I don't care.
I'm strong.
100% the best pride.
This is what pride is supposed to be. There shouldn't be a party. This is pride.
Yeah, I'm fearless.
I felt very, very comfortable about just being myself, and that has been like a journey for me.
You know, I'm fearless.
We are not asking for change because we are the change.
I'm fearless.
Queer lives matter. Queer lives matter. Queer lives matter.
Blaise, you edit like a don.
So any thoughts on that? Initially, it's just literally we put it together from the 3 or 4 protests that we attended. We are probably going to shoot a little bit more, but that's what we call a teaser. It's not actually going to go anywhere. It's purely to show commissioners. We'll probably benefit from a little bit more emotion, I guess. But just what you guys' initial thoughts? What do you think?
That gave me chills. That gave actual chills down my spine. Like, that was incredible. I think it was just so important. There were so many things that just really like hit home, and like you realize, like Ferhan was saying, like pride isn't a party, it is a protest. And especially how like it really like the message was hit across that, you know, you're born black and you'll die black, but you don't want to die because you are black. That line itself was so powerful, and it really just like makes like it, I'm thinking anyone who would see this would realize that it's so important to like support people, because it seems like the world is against black people. It seems like the world is against gay people. Like they need to join together. And it was just I think it was really moving seeing everyone together. And the fact that you have to protest during pandemics, like some people think it's irresponsible, but people should think, why do you have to even protest in the first place? Like if you're doing it during a pandemic, that just proves how desperate people are to improve black lives, because they deserve better. You know, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Is like, I think a lot of people are saying that the protests were not sensible and whatever, and a lot of people's reply was quite rightly so. Racism has killed more people than this pandemic has. Like, anti-blackness has killed more people than this pandemic has, and it's important. And I think it's that the line that Rico said about, you know, we're out here and we're fighting, but like we don't want our whole lives to be fighting. We want to be able to just live our lives, and I think that's really important. And yeah, like that is what pride is. Like that, when you look at all of those people coming together, like, and you remember the fact that like pride was started by black trans sex workers, like that, like Black Lives Matter protest is what pride is. That was pride. That is exactly the epitome of it. And I agree, like they should be working together instead of working against each other. And yeah, the editing was incredible. Like all of those shots where it was like on them and then it like zoomed in and like I don't know what it's called, what that editing is called, but like every single time I did that, I was like, oh, incredible, like honestly.
Yeah, I've just got goosebumps all over again, and I'm just thinking, wow, do you know what? This film is going to be the perfect way to follow up to last year's, because like Vaneet said, like I said, you know, Pride has become so far removed from what it was supposed to be, which was supposed to be a protest against the oppression by police of particularly Black and brown, you know, LGBTQ people, which were the most, you know, if you've watched Pose, you'll know that Black and brown LGBTQ people were always at the bottom of the fucking hierarchy of gay life. You know, white men never had to deal with, you know, police oppression really. So we're going back to the roots this year of what Pride is. You know, it's about being proud of who you are, whether you're Black or LGBTQ plus, and it's about celebrating that life that you live. You know, not feeling like you literally have to keep fighting every single day to just breathe. Like, you need to be able to also celebrate who you are, and that's what Pride should be about. It shouldn't be a fucking party where last year, I mean, you know, Pride and Protest, going back to that film, I mean, you know, to bring it on to me, I mean, I was kind of like attacked by the security service in the Pride. And I think, you know, our Pride and Protest film demonstrated what Pride has changed to become. It's become just as oppressive as the society we live in. This film is going to be powerful.
Okay, thank you guys for the lovely feedback. Just before
I got emotional watching that trailer. It's okay. I got emotional watching that trailer. So like, it's deep. I'm glad that we're doing it because it just needs to be said. So
yeah. I just as well. I met Cupid at the protest, but I never knew his backstory. So when I did meet him, it was just incredible to just know what he had been through, and it did really make sense why he does what he does and how he's found strength in the adversity that he's kind of gone through. So we can only hope that I can do it justice when we do kind of film more with scenes, because at the moment what we're doing is we're trying to find funding for it, and also looking to kind of partner with a broadcaster or a production company that's got links to the networks. So potentially, because of the subject matter, because it's very timely, I think it's got a good chance of getting picked up. And as I said before, the most important thing is that it reaches a wide audience as possible, because I really do feel that these two stories and these two characters that we have, Rico and Cupid, are the epitome of what it means to be Black and queer. And I think just by having them share their stories, it's going to have an impact on so many queer people of color, Black people, who are kind of going through similar challenges in life, and just give them role models. I think you two make really, really great role models, I personally think. So I just think going forward, I'm going to put my heart and soul into it, and blood, sweat and tears, so to speak, just to make it work, make it a reality, and just ensure that the voices that we do have in this film get heard by as many people as possible. Okay, so yeah.
In terms of funding, have you spoken to AZ Mag? Because they have something around like helping fund Black LGBTQ plus creatives. I don't know if you've reached out to them.
Not yet, but I can add that to the list. I'll definitely check that out, because we were thinking of doing if it doesn't kind of get anywhere with any of the contacts that we have, then potentially we just self-fund it, which means crowdfunding. But I think that teaser is pretty good at the moment for putting forward as a crowdfunding pitch, so it can attract interest, I guess. And then that way as well, what's really great about that is that you already have your audience. So once people do start crowdfunding, they know that they're going to be the people who are going to be watching it. We know how to access them. So that's a great thing to do. But the people who need to see this film are the wider community, the straight community, the white community. They're the ones who need to see this film, because there's a difference between somebody who buys a ticket, who will probably be interested in the subject matter because they are from that community, and somebody who actually needs to see this film because it will change them, because it will contribute to reducing the prejudices that they have, and the impact is exactly that. So potentially by having it on BBC Three, for example, which is what we're aiming for, or Channel 4, it's going to reach that audience and it's going to get people talking, I hope. So did anyone have anything else to say?
Can I quickly say,
yeah,
I went to Margate Pride just for the day, and I met the CEO of BFI, who is boyfriends with Randeep. Do you know Randeep?
Randeep from
Randeep Huda. Well, he's just a gay Asian person, so I just thought. Right, he's Randeep's done well for himself. Got a husband that's like the BFI CEO of the BFI, and he introduced me to Jess Search as well. I don't know if you've heard of Jess Search.
Yeah, she's from Doc Society.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got chatting to both of them at Margate Pride. I don't know if there'll be any help, but I'll give you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is how it works basically, is because once we start networking with people, we're much more likely to get our content seen. Because otherwise, without those, it just comes through to an inbox and they don't know, they can't put a face to the name, so to speak. So that'd be really great if you could maybe put us in touch. The other project that I shared with you guys, the 2 Sikh 2 Queer, that's also kind of running at this stage as well. That has gone through to BFI Doc Society through to their Made of Truth Fund. So we find out in 7 weeks for that. That's a short form documentary as well. I didn't put Black Rainbow in for that because they needed a separate producer for that. So I had to go and recruit a producer. But I got the producer who's done the Sabrab Ke Bande, which was the Sikh one that's out at the moment, which is the queer Sikh documentary that was made in India. So he's also produced that. So just to have him on board is a great thing. Lax Man is also involved. And also the people, the cast that you'd seen, they're provisionally interested as well. So a lot is going on at the moment in terms of potential projects. But the way I kind of see Pride and Protest was, if you could imagine that it's like the Avengers in a way, and everybody's getting their own kind of origin story. So Rico is first, and then I think eventually everyone's going to get their own little mini film kind of as a result of it, and then we can do a Pride and Protest part 2 once everything kind of gets back to normal, so to speak. So looking forward to kind of working on all that. Just before we go, just one last thing I wanted to do was just to find out just a little bit of a focus group thing now. Anybody can just kind of chime in. If you can let me know what activities, I know we kind of touched on it in the survey, but anybody who maybe didn't answer, if you wanted to add to that, what activities or interventions or help or support would you guys like to see in the coming months that you think are going to really help to mitigate against the effects or the impact of COVID on you personally? So it could be as simple as maybe just having a forum like this to discuss things regularly. It could be that you want something a bit more maybe in person, or even to do with activities to do with career progression or professional development. So if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to share with the group now.
I would just like to say something, because I didn't actually end up filling out the form, because I think recently I've been pretty terrible with kind of like getting back with the group because of family issues that have been going on recently. But I think in terms of things that could probably help, I think career-wise, especially now, we're all in a time where there's a lot of uncertainty. So I think something that would probably give us a lot of reassurance is, I think, being able to speak with people who have some sort of like not higher, but people who kind of like understand the place that we're all in and can actually give us, you know, real advice on how to succeed and how to advance from where we are. And maybe see if like there are any, I think it'd be nice to do any group activities to really know how to use your time productively and how to use your time while you're at home, because it looks like we're probably going to be in the situation for longer. So I think it would be really good. I think we all have such creative minds, we're all such a really good, bright group of people, and I think feeding off each other and learning about how everyone else has been staying productive would be a really great idea.
Yeah, brilliant. That sounds great. And I think what you're probably alluding to in terms of having somebody senior giving you advice is probably a mentorship program. So certainly, if this fund comes through, the ATM fund that I discussed before, which has kind of gone through in the first round, potentially we will be recruiting mentors specifically for that. So what I probably get you guys to do is fill out a form, just another damn form, but just a form just so that you guys can let me know what your interests are, and then I can pair with mentors accordingly to maybe your professional interest or any personal challenges that you might be having. So that would be really great. Has anybody else got anything else they want to add to that in terms of support or ideas that you might have for future Rainbow Films kind of projects, or whatever you think would be good at this point?
I really enjoy. I'm really grateful to have this kind of like this meeting of all of us. I think I'd quite like to have this regularly, just because I think we've got such a great creative energy, all of us, and it's like we're behind a cause. And yeah, I just really want to be able to at least once a month, maybe even like more frequent. I think it would be really nice to just have this Zoom chat.
Yeah, lovely. I agree, definitely. I think we should do more of this. And just to add on opportunities, if anybody is struggling financially, I think there's a couple of places that I've got links from that are suggesting contact them regarding hardship funds, etc. Rico's applied for this in the past, but Screen Skills, I think they've still got it going. It's basically a bursary for creative people. So if you are involved in the production, TV and film production industry, Giselle, this might apply to you. Ben, this might apply to you. Sammy, and possibly even Vaneet, from a creativity point of view. You can apply for a bursary, skill set bursary, which will give you up to £4,000, depending on your skill set level. It's a grant. And it can help you out with getting training. You can buy cameras, or you can buy laptops, anything that you might need. So for example, if you're thinking of maybe becoming changing jobs or becoming somebody within the actual film and TV sector, this will help you to access training and get funding for that as well. So I will share the links with you on that in the group. Another one is the Arts Council. They're reopening their hardship fund as well. So it's for certain professionals within the certain arts, I guess. So this may qualify for you as well. I also received one as well. It's open to anybody who works within the creative industries, basically. So again, I'll send you the links to that as well. So it'd be useful for you guys if you are in any hardship at this particular present moment. Okay, I think that is it for now. Feel free now, if you want to unmute, just say whatever you want to say to the group that hasn't been covered so far, and then we will close the meeting.
Can I just ask, on your Black Rainbow project, how do we help?
Yeah, so basically at this stage, because we're looking for funding, eventually we're going to be recruiting crew. So I've always said that I want to give anybody from Rainbow Films first priority on that. So there'll be sort of sound, camera, etc. Obviously then we probably will get a more experienced DOP, but then there'll be roles like camera assistant, sound recording assistant, production manager, etc. So there will definitely be an opportunity for you to get involved. If you do want to come anyway, because me and Rico are shooting on, if people are available just to come and turn up to sessions and just give a helping hand, we're going to be filming the Black Trans Lives protest. There's another protest, but there's speeches, and Rico's doing a speech. So we're filming a speech on the 4th of September coming up. Not this weekend, the weekend after. But I'll keep posting stuff in the group, and if anybody's around, Ferhan came, he came and supported us, and they were basically enabled us to film some scenes with them as well at the protest. So if you want to come on board, even if it means that you come in and you're somebody for Rico to talk to, because we need Rico to be talking to people, because it's actually more of a it's more of an observational documentary. So in that respect, It's real life, it's actuality. So it's Rico discussing how they're feeling before they go up on stage. So maybe Giselle, if you want to be on that, and maybe this time I'll give you a bit more of just a noddy. Because I think last time in Pride and Protest, you had reduced because of time, you were reduced to just a noddy. But we can have a conversation with you, you and Rico, and Rico can just maybe discuss how he's feeling about going up on because I think that what we do want to try and get is what I meant by emotion is just having those moments of maybe anxiety, or those moments of like tearful moments just for the trailer, because again the trailer is a selling piece. It's not necessarily gonna go out there to the public. It's more to sell to broadcasters and get them on board. Okay, so any comments before we round up and close off?
I was just going to say the same thing as Giselle. Like, if there's any way we can help, let us know. I'm still not getting on public transport, so I probably can't help from that perspective. But like, networking, which I seem to do a lot of for Rainbow Films, like helped us with Persevere and Squiff and all that kind of stuff. So like, yeah, just let me know and I can. Like, I'm sure Rico has like 10 million connections himself, but if I can help in any way, then just let me know. I can.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that we're probably going to try and do is, as I was saying, if we don't get any traction from the contacts that we have, is a crowdfunding campaign. So it may even just be to share stuff on people's social media, or like you had suggested, getting involved with that magazine to see if they're involved. So I think if we can all put our heads together, there's enough brain power to kind of get this project off the ground, I think.
And the other thing is I can't wait for the rest of our origin stories as well, and I cannot wait for Avengers Part 2 because I was even saying this to Rico last time. I was like, I really can't wait for us to have like Pride and Protest. Where are they now? Like 10 years from now, and like all of us are like super incredible, successful, amazing, influential people doing all the cool shit and like changing the world. So
I mean, definitely one idea that we did have was turning it into a series, so that we have a person of the week, a character of the week, so to speak. So that respect, there's endless stories of everybody who's kind of been involved that we can maybe turn it into something for Netflix.
If you did it on like BBC Three, they do a lot of that kind of stuff, and you could do like a different section of the community like each week or whatever, like a 10-part series. You're like the L, the G, the B, the P, the Q. Like just do.
Yeah, 100%. There's actually a platform on Amazon, within Amazon itself. It's a LGBT channel. They do a lot of predominantly gay content, but they've got a commissioning arm as well. So it's something that we can possibly present to them as an option as well, because there's nothing else like it. Even going to Peccadillo Pictures, which is probably the biggest distributor of LGBT content, or well, let's just say gay, because they mainly do gay stuff. But they everything that they have is very white and it's very twink. So this is going to be a refreshing change for them. So I think we're in a good place right now because we're offering things that are very much in demand. And I think if we can just really, as I said, just stay in the loop and continuously be in touch with each other, we can always be shouting at opportunities as they come along. Okay, so Cosmos's birthday on the 5th. Oh, okay, wicked. Nice. So hopefully we might even be able to see them on the 5th as well, because we want to shoot a few more things. But I think, did anybody else have anything else they want to add before we close off?
I wanted to quickly add something, just because I feel like I felt like it was a big part of my experience in Rainbow Films, and also it's things are changing now. So I had mentioned that I was obviously had been getting back into writing, but that had come to an abrupt stop. And I was gonna say, like with following all of our lives, like after Pride and Protest, and doing like a sort of Avengers 2 kind of thing. I think maybe I wanted to kind of share with you guys, since you had all been such a really important part of like my lives, like last year. Last month, just about over a month ago, my dad had actually unfortunately passed away. So and it was just, I had a lot of reflecting, especially with this film, because I think I had a lot of restrictions and like trying to like hide this film from him and hide it, and just I think it's going to be a really different experience for me now, like especially as like a queer person. And I think I wanted to say that if any of you have any sort of like input, or because I wanted to make like a sort of piece, or I wanted to do like a sort of anything like a video piece or writing about how like relationships with parents who are homophobic like really affect you. And I've had a lot of like thinking to do with it ever since my dad had passed away, and he had passed away out of nowhere. There was really nothing wrong, and he had a sudden cardiac arrest. So life's been really different for me. That's why I haven't really been doing anything in the past few months. I have not been productive at all. I've just been kind of sitting here dealing with grief. And I wanted to do like a piece on how queer kids feel grief in a really different way, because a lot of it was accepting the fact that I didn't even feel grief for a lot of the time, but then sometimes I'd felt grief and I didn't know like if anything was good, if anything was bad. So I actually just wanted to share that with you guys, because I like know that like we had like gone through it together like a family, and I think it was just nice to let you guys know.
Yeah, thank you, Manpreet, for sharing that. I'm really, really sorry to hear that, obviously. And if there's anything I can do to help, or if any of the group can help in any way, do let us know. More than happy to support you with creating something. If you want any help with filming, I can do that. Editing, whatever you need, just give me a shout, 100%.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you know, like if any ideas come to my head about that.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure to see you all today. Manpreet, again, my heart goes out to you after hearing that, and we will kind of be in touch and just see how we can support with what you've just asked as well. 100%. So group-wise, thank you so much for today. It was been really, really great. I've actually forgotten how much this group really got on really well, and just kind of really do miss the sessions that we did have in person. But hopefully, as I said, as Ferhan suggested as well, let's do more of these, and let's kind of try and do this on a regular basis, because I think we've got some really good knowledge and we can share with each other, but also just to kind of have a bit of camaraderie through the hard times that are coming up. I think that's going to be essential. So I will say my goodbyes now, and thank you very much everybody for joining us. And then I'm going to just, in about 30 seconds, I will close the meeting. So do feel free to just talk or say anything or unmute yourself if you want to.
Miss you all.
Love you all.
Can't wait to see you Zoom again soon.
So much love.
I love what we do. I love what we do.
Hope we can like all see each other and hug again soon.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.